Um, how much do you weigh, just about?
320, I think.
320, okay. All right.
And I sat on her to try to restrain her. And she kept kicking and bucking against the wall. And she said, "Cousin Veronica, I can't breathe."
And you're sitting on her, right?
Today, we uncover a story that's as unsettling as it is instructive, the tragic case of 9-year-old Derica Lindsay. A tale where discipline intended to correct led to consequences no one could have foreseen. In a home where love was supposed to be the foundation, a series of disciplinary actions spiraled into a nightmarish outcome. Our story revolves around Veronica Posy, Derica Lindsay, and a day that changed their lives forever. The headline screamed of the inconceivable, but behind them lay a complex tapestry of family dynamics, discipline, and a little girl's struggle. Our narrative unfolds on what began as a typical day, yet one that veered into the extraordinary with chilling rapidity. Tasked with the care and correction of her young cousin, Veronica faced a scenario that rapidly spiraled beyond the realms of her control. The setting was a home, a place that should have been a sanctuary of nurturing and love. Yet, on this fateful day, it became a backdrop to a tragedy. Veronica, with intentions of disciplining Derica, a child she perceived as wayward, employed measures she deemed necessary. Her approach, however, was imbued with a severity that would have heart-wrenching consequences. Intent on addressing what she saw as behavioral transgressions, Veronica resorted to an extreme form of discipline. Her methods, steeped in a misguided determination to correct perceived misconduct, were drastically harsh and, as fate would tragically reveal, fatally flawed. What began as an attempt to enforce order and respect tragically morphed into a scenario of unimaginable horror. As the moments unfolded, the tension escalated. A palpable, ominous air filled the room. The disciplinary act, meant to be corrective, crossed the boundaries of safety and care, spiraling into a catastrophic sequence of events. The gravity of the situation became dreadfully apparent, culminating in consequences that were as irreversible as they were devastating. The unfolding scene, a stark and harrowing tableau, was marked by a profound emotional intensity. It was not just the physical act of discipline that cast a shadow over the room, but the overwhelming realization of its dire repercussions. As the situation spiraled, the chilling reality of the outcome began to crystallize, etching a permanent scar on the fabric of their lives. As the grim reality of the situation unfolded, a frantic race against time ensued. The air, once filled with the everyday sounds of life, now resonated with the urgency of the impending crisis. Emergency services were summoned in a desperate plea for help, their arrival marked by the piercing sound of sirens cutting through the stunned silence of the neighborhood. The immediate chaos was palpable as first responders rushed in, their movements swift and decisive. Yet, despite their rapid response, the atmosphere was heavy with a harrowing quietude, the kind that follows a storm. The community, once vibrant and filled with the laughter of children, was now encapsulated in a shroud of disbelief and mourning. A family, previously bound by the day-to-day joys and challenges of life, found themselves irrevocably fractured, grappling with a loss so profound that words fell short. The scene that unfolded was a stark testament to the gravity of the incident. Emergency technicians worked with a blend of urgency and precision, their efforts a somber dance amidst the chaos. The animation of a 911 call, inserted here, serves not just as a technical recount of the event, but as a poignant reminder of the fragile thread by which life hangs. Each second was a battle against time, each action imbued with the weight of the knowledge that a young life hung in the balance. The aftermath was a landscape of sorrow and unanswered questions. The echoes of the sirens faded, but the resonance of the event lingered, casting a long shadow over the hearts of all who were touched by the tragedy. The loss of a young life is a wound to the community that never truly heals. It's a stark reminder of the fragility of existence and the profound impact of our actions. As the community grappled with the reality of the irreversible loss, a collective mourning began, a lament for a future unjustly taken and a life extinguished too soon. In the aftermath of tragedy, the hallowed halls of justice became the arena for a harrowing deliberation. The legal system, tasked with the immense responsibility of adjudicating the case, found itself at the crossroads of morality and law, wrestling with the daunting task of imposing a verdict that could encapsulate the enormity of the incident. The courtroom, a crucible of societal judgment, bore witness to the heartrending narratives of all involved. As the gavel echoed through the silent anticipation of those present, The ensuing sentences rendered were not just legal conclusions, but a profound commentary on the boundary where discipline veers into destruction. Veronica Posy, whose intentions catastrophically transcended the bounds of corrective discipline, was met with the sternest of legal responses, a life sentence devoid of parole. This, alongside the substantial sentences handed down to Grace Smith and James, served as a somber epilogue to a saga of misguided discipline, underscoring a lesson etched in tragedy. The fine line between guidance and grievance is perilously thin, and the consequences of crossing it irrevocably severe. Let us hold in our hearts the memory of Derica Lindsay, a poignant emblem of lost potential and a stark beacon urging us to contemplate the profound implications of our actions. This narrative compels us to ponder deeply at what juncture does discipline transcend its intent and become a harbinger of harm. In honoring her memory, we are called to reflect, engage, and advocate for a world where the innocence of childhood is shielded with wisdom, compassion, and rightful judgment. We invite you to share your insights, your reflections, and your commitment to fostering environments where the well-being of every child is held sacrosanct.